Joining us now to talk more about the nation's changing retail landscape is Joe Feldman, retail analyst at Telsey Advisory Group. Mr. Feldman, welcome. Good to have you with us. Let's talk first about Barnes & Noble. Can it survive? Will it survive? And what must it do to survive?
Well, I think it can survive if it creates an engaging experience. As we heard in the prior segment, that people like to go to the bookstore. People still want to browse. Amazon is really not great for browsing. Amazon's good for buying and maybe having something shipped to you, but how do you walk into the bookstore or how do you go to the website and just start browsing around? It's a very different experience in the bookstore, and I think really for all brick and mortar retail, there's a reason for brick and mortar retail, and I think there's a reason to exist and to drive people into the stores.
Joe, I'm with you. I like to browse and touch and feel and all of that. But, Amazon is so dominant in this whole retail space. There was a story in Time magazine not long ago with the headline, "Will Amazon take over the world?" And it sounded like an exaggeration, but really it looks like they are taking over this retail space. Can anybody top what Amazon is doing?
Well, Amazon's done a phenomenal job in categories like books, music. They've done a good job. Obviously, electronics has been a pressure point. But why couldn't Walmart out Amazon? I mean, Walmart has 4,000 stores in the United States. They have value pricing. They're a logistics retailer, really, or a logistics-based company, I should say, that happens to sell stuff, very much like Amazon. Why couldn't they be able to leverage that need? The customer wants to pick up the goods in the store that day. They want it shipped to their house. However they want to buy that item, that's really what Walmart could provide. And if you notice, Amazon needs to get closer to the customer. They're trying to open more distribution centers so that they can be closer for same-day delivery. So I think, you also get service, you get private label at stores. There's other reasons to go to the store beyond just, getting that item delivered to your house.
You raise an interesting point there, Joe, and I'm given to think of Apple and the way Samsung has come at them, and they haven't out-Appled Apple, but they've made a pretty good run at it. Somebody is going to try and compete and effectively, eventually, with Amazon. Let me turn back to the whole viability of the big box format, which is really Barnes & Noble's thing. Do they have a real estate problem in much the same way that lots of analysts believe Best Buy has or had a real estate problem? They've got stores that are just too big, too costly, and have too many people in them.
I do think that there is an issue on that front, that the stores are quite large. They do, they're in generally very good locations, though. That's the one big strength that Barnes & Noble does have. They have very prime locations. So I don't think that they would have great difficulty if they needed to get out of some stores. But the form factor of the book hasn't really changed. What's interesting with Best Buy is the form factor of the TV changed, and a lot of the products have got smaller, thinner. You didn't need that much space to house it. But for books, maybe you don't want to house as many books as you used to, but there's other things you can do, like whether it's games, toys. There's the cafes within the stores. There's ways to use that space.
Look, there's no question that this whole business model is changing and it's in flux, but look out a couple of years. Who's going to make it? Who's not going to make it? I know that Macy's and Nordstrom are spending millions of dollars to have an e-commerce site, and there are lots of other retailers, but who makes it and who doesn't?
Well, I think Walmart makes it. I think Home Depot and Lowe's is really not at risk from the internet. I think Best Buy makes it. I think Best Buy is going to make a very good go of it and be a good stock over the next few years. I think, as you said, Nordstrom, Macy's, some of these players, they're investing a lot now in e-commerce. They also offer good service within the stores. They offer differentiated product. They offer private label in some cases. I think those are ways that the big brick and mortar are going to need to compete.
They've got to stand for something. That's my basic bottom line on that. Joe Feldman, thank you very much, retail analyst at the Telsey Advisory Group.